nigga.
He albino, he a mole rat.
Yeah, he old red dude. Old red cat, man. Boom! Action. Good stream health. Yeah, that he went hard, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He said he was talking about it, man. He said he wasn't gonna say nothing to him. He said, "Cuz said his name." He said once you said my name, I had to holler at you. Ain't the thing went offline? How we go offline? Oh, stream.
This is real in the conscious community, huh?
It's real. It's real.
Ain't no nigga gonna control. You see, ain't nobody gonna control me at all. I hear people making some comments about a tribunal, calling some elders to a tribunal, and
Nah, he cuss a lot.
Who, Sam?
Yeah, he cuss a lot. Every other word. I'm talking about every other word. We had some stream. What's going on? Yeah, it started out green, but now it done switched to red now. It says
Let me go online.
Yeah.
What's your internet upload speed?
I have no idea. I can't answer that question.
Hey, go online and go to speedtest.net. Cause I gotta know what your speed is.
Alright.
So speedtest.net, and then click on that begin test, that green button there, and let it test.
So the churn, he's looking at this video.
I can't hear you.
I said there's a churn running around here and he's looking at this video. I don't see nothing to say test. All I see is something. I'll say detect internet speed.
Yeah, it should say in green begin speed test.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, it's just the website came up. It say advertise, become a host, my results, support, settings, log in, create an account.
Okay, hold on.
There you go. Now it just came up.
Okay. The green button, begin speed test.
Yeah. Yeah, begin test. All right.
Yeah, it's gonna run the test, and then you need to let me know what your upload speed is. You got the thing up right now?
Yeah, it's going right now.
What you doing, Ty?
She struck him.
Who?
Sorry.
Come here. Why you here? Huh? Huh?
It's looking like it's slowing down at about 15.21.
Why you here?
Say ping 45 ms, download speed 15.21, and it's doing the upload speed right now.
You hear me?
You said the download speed was what?
15.21.
Mbps?
Yeah, the upload speed 1.33.
Go sit with your mama.
Is
1.33? Go
That's
sit
what it
down.
say.
Dang, that's it?
That's what it say.
You want your butt popped?
That's like...
Go sit down with your mama.
Like in order to stream a video, your upload speed has to be above
What I said?
3.
What I said?
Because my upload speed is 11. But,
I guess it's maybe because too much stuff on the Wi-Fi. I guess I don't know.
why don't you stream from your phone? Put your...
All right, it always come on good. So Right now, it's good. We got good health right now. It ain't switched over to the bad yet, so we should be good.
Okay.
You go ahead and kill that TV, Shayla. It's about 740. Yeah, right now it's good. It's in the
They run good for us.
right now it's in the green. It ain't switched over like the first time we cut it on. It switched over to the red immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah,
Alright.
it's still in the green right now though. I think we good now though. I appreciate you, Mike.
You good to go?
Yeah, it looked like it. It's staying green, so
Alright, if you got any more problems, we'll just have to figure it out. I have to actually see that internet connection.
just our tempo.
Alright then.
All right. All right, let me see if anybody on here, man. If not, I'm gone. I'm already
The number
there.
you are dialing is outside of your plan and will
Get ready to crank this show on up. Try to finish one thing that we started about a couple weeks ago. See what we got from the rest.
Welcome.
I got something else. I don't think I'm gonna get it though.
You are the only person.
Some boy like this here. It is what it is. I'm finna send this text on through, and then I'm gone. So, now I switched to the red. Just that fast. I mean, it ain't gonna be like this here, man. They say this thing got to be above 3. It's pulling too slow. So if it's that's all that is, it's pulling too slow. I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But nevertheless, try to pick up from what we were talking about a couple weeks ago in Psalm 68. And some of that stuff in there. I know that stuff, boy, like this here, man, I showed you that dude going off. That junk was hilarious. I don't know what y'all be waiting on. 740 like I'm sitting around waiting on you niggas. Like this here, man. You know what time it is? We do this every week. But the fact to hear 2 grown men arguing about who run the conscious community, like that's crazy. That's really, really crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's really, really crazy. That dudes even had that type of argument, had that type of discussion, had that type of feel. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be about the people, it's got to be about you. You know what I'm saying?
Come here.
That's what dudes be wanting though. Dudes always be screaming why black people can't unify and this, that, and the third. And that be why, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be the man, got to be the dude. That dude say, if you the general, I'm the prince. You answer to me. I don't answer to you. You answer to me. That's crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's what it is though, man. That's what that thing got slower. Shoot, it didn't do nothing. That thing, I just ran the test. It got slower. Let me look and see what it looked like on here. But I ain't gonna try to take too long. Let me see what it looked like on here. Let me see what it looked like, y'all. I'm just checking, y'all. See what it looked like. Oh, that's right. I cut my Wi-Fi off, so it's not gonna come on.
Yeah.
I cut my Wi-Fi off.
It's outside
I got something. This is Job 7 too, man. I supposed to hit y'all with that about 2 weeks ago.
You can hang up now.
I ain't get around up to it.
Welcome.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little something before we get started though. That was funny to me last night. last night it was this brother from Cali. He was like, Hebrew Israelites, should we lift weights? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with that, just because, it's a lot of parallels to the gym that you can use with the word. You know what I'm saying? A nigga got on there and said, I ain't got time to lift weights. I'm studying to show myself approved. So you brothers need to study to show yourself approved. I say, my nigga, stop acting like you study the book 24/7, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why these dudes be getting online trying to act like all they ever do is just study. Who studies the word 24 hours a day? Ain't nobody studying no word no 24 hours a day. Dudes getting the word act like they ain't got nothing else that they own besides the word. They act like they can't read nothing other than anything that got to do with the word or some history to try to validate the word. Dudes act like they don't do nothing for entertainment or nothing. You know what I'm saying? You tell me, all I'm saying is you came for me, brother. I say, how anybody came for you? You sound like a woman.
What you respond? That what you responded?
I say, man, that dude kept, only reason I said something to him because he kept telling people that it's apparent that you have not studied to show yourself approved. You're not studying to show yourself approved. I say, come on, bro. I study the word. I say, bro, they read books, we hustle, you know what I'm saying? Do all type of stuff. Nobody asked you what you hustle and what your workout program is. I didn't even tell you what my hustle was, nor did I tell you what my workout program was. I just said I just work out 3 to 4 times a week. A workout can be an hour, man. You're talking about an hour out of 24. 1 hour.
That ain't nothing.
That's nothing. 60 minutes. 120 if you're feeling froggy. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I'm in the gym regularly for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? You talking about 2 hours. 2 hours. You mean to tell me you couldn't set aside 6 hours a week to lift? That was mutual combatant.
Put it down. Put it down.
Mutual combatants on that. So
put it down.
Dudes be tripping. You know what I'm saying? And the man was like,
go sit down.
My man from California was like, how I explained to him how we can use the parallels of the word with working out. He was like, he ain't never seen no brew put it in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, because these dudes be act like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Your ancestors wasn't walking around studying the word 24 hours a day. And then 2 Timothy 2:15 ain't even for everybody. That's for preachers. He said, as a workman. So if you're not a teacher of the word, you're not a workman. It means you haven't been sent to do the work. So that means he wasn't talking to you. Do you know what I'm saying? See, people forget Timothy was a minister. He was a preacher. You notice that he wrote and Titus was a preacher. You notice that he wrote the qualifications for a bishop to 2 preachers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Follow suit.
So they could follow suit, so they could ordain other preachers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? 2 Timothy 2:15 is one of the most grossly misused verses in the book. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's not dealing with everybody in our nation is not a teacher. The other thing that killed me too is he talking about we supposed to be nation building. Nowhere at any time did y'all ever tell you to build no nation. You know what I'm talking about? He never told you to do that. When do you see this man talking about go nation build?
What they saying? He
ain't tell you to go nation build. Yeah, that means, hey man, have some churn. Not build a nation, build an infrastructure and all that type. He didn't tell you to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where they do get that from because he didn't tell you to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why a lot of people don't realize why you're unsuccessful in what you're trying to do because he didn't tell you to go do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Dudes be bugging. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what these niggas be on. I told my man, I said, I ain't gonna front. I say it on camera right now. I don't care if a nigga get mad. A lot of these niggas is lames. He used the word dork. I ain't heard somebody call a nigga dork in so long. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is though, is dudes are nobodies. You know what I'm saying? And now this particular platform of being on the internet, little internet fame, little social media fame, has made a whole bunch of nobodies feel like somebody. Finding out that you from the seed of Yasharal of Israel is lifted up niggas who were nobodies to make them feel like they somebodies. And now they have to walk around and pretend that I'm this, that, there, and the third 24/7, 365. I told him, if you notice the people who really live in it, they don't do this stuff that these niggas be doing. You know what I'm saying? On every corner, rebuking everybody. I seen my man post a little picture, right, of what's supposed to have been the master with a little girl. And some niggas got on about that. Now, I'm like this here, right? Y'all already know how I feel about that. I ain't with all that picture posting scriptural figures. You know, I ain't big on that. You know what I'm saying? But he was looking at it from the perspective that the Hebraic perspective say a graven image is something made out of wood and stone. You know what I'm saying? Dudes coming at him like any likeness. I say for me, like this here, you may not be worshiping it, but you might cause somebody else to see that and think that's acceptable for them to do it. So it might just be better served. You know what I'm talking about? Just don't even mess with it, because we ain't looking. You sometimes we don't look at it in them terms because you feel like because you not doing it, but the next person might look at that and pull an old junkie stunt. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't with it, boy. I ain't finna post damn picture of nobody. You know, it's bad enough Nathaniel 7 got a picture out here talking about that's the master and it's his face. How bold you got to be to do that? You know what I'm saying? These niggas is wild out here, man. These brews is wild out here. I don't know what these niggas got going on out here, man. These niggas are arguing about any and everything. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, you act like, well, what y'all trying to do to change the situation? You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody trying to live right. So since ain't nobody trying to live right, you ain't trying to do nothing economically. You ain't trying to help build nothing. Niggas just be bugging. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand, man, what these dudes got going on. But nevertheless, man, that's just how I said, man, I had to let that be known. That tripped me out, though. I hope everybody doing all right. We finna get ready to crank this thing on up. Let me see how this thing look on here, man. Let me see how this thing look on here for this stream is concerned. Before I take off, man. Cause I know he buffering. I know he got to be buffering decent. I know he got to be buffering good and decent. It's definitely on the delay. It's definitely on the delay. It say we live. Let me see. Yeah, it might be on the delay. We might be alright. So let's get ready to get this show on the road. Get ready to pray and crank this thing on up. Them children ready? All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and pray, man. Righteous Father Yahuwah, we thank you for thy mercies and allowing us to gather together to hear thy word. We thank you for thy truth and thy righteousness and thy mercies, which you've shown to thy people through thy son YAHUSHA HaMashiach. Let us run to the throne of favor, that we might find help in the time of need, that we might be strengthened by thy word, that we might be filled with thy Ruach HaKodesh. Look upon the whole house of Yasharal, to the Yahudim first, also to the heathen that walk before thee in Ruach and in the truth, that thy mercy be upon them. All the set apart apostles, prophets, preachers, and teachers in synagogues and assemblies of Yahuwah on the four corners of the earth. Baruch them individually and collectively, that they gather together perfect and one in the beauty of Kadash. Baruch the hosts and Shamahim and the apostles and prophets that paid the way of the faith. Send laborers into thy harvest, for the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. The word you covenant with our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob might be fulfilled. Then we might return unto thee to walk before thee in righteousness and goodness and in truth. Let our minds be knit together in the things in Shamahim, but not the things that so near rest. Let us mortify our members, and let us set ourselves apart away from the flesh and away from selfish desire, that we might become humble servants, fashioned after the image of thy Son, that we might show forth thy praise and esteem throughout the whole earth. Remember Jerusalem, the city of salvation, which you chose to place thy name, cleanse her the unkadash who defile her, and plant back the people of thy kadashness in that set apart place, that we might dwell where our fathers dwell. Remember similar to firstborn, you ain't got no shirt on, boy. Remember similar to firstborn, individually and collectively, let the love of Mashiach dwell in our heart by faith. Guide us and strengthen us according to truth and righteousness. Let thy mercy sustain us and guide us. We thank you for all the things that you've done and the things that you have not done, the things that you have given and the things that you have withheld. Let thy word resonate in our hearts, and let us be knit together with thee in righteousness and Kadesh. Guide us according to thy word, and let us not depart moving to the left hand nor to the right, but let our eyes be focused on the things that are above. As we proceed further, Father, we seek thee for a word from on high, a word, truth, and righteousness to come to us, that we may know him that is true, that we are in him that is true, even our son Yahusha HaMashiach, which is the true Elohim and eternal life. Father, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah by Hashem Yahusha this day. So be it. Bye-bye, that's it. Come here, man. Bye-bye, man. John 5:39. You ain't got no shirt on, boy. You go sit down, too.
Come on, Father.
John 5:39. Try to be brief as possible. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. You know, it's a lot of people don't realize that there. You say, I know you, you don't got no love of Elohim in you. Let's look at Telahim, Psalm 68 and 5. Let's see what we get out of that. Might not get around this Psalm, Job chapter 7. It's already 8 o'clock, so I ain't going that long. I mean that. That is a guaranteed promise to you this evening. Psalm 68 and 5. It says, a father of the fire, read verse 4, because that's what we left off at the last time we was in Psalm 68. It says, sing unto Elohim, sing praises to his name. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that ride upon Shamahim by his name Yahuwah, and rejoice before him. You know, we dealt with that the last time we talked about this, and I'm not finna go into greater detail about it. You know what I'm saying? So, let's look at verse 5. A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is Elohim in his Kadesh habitation. Now, we did start something about widows, and we ain't never finished it out. And Most High willing, we're going to get to that. But he says he's a father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows. So I want you to sit back and look at something as he says he's a father to the fatherless. Let's look at, where's that at? Malachi chapter 2. We have to sit back and see how he could be a father to the fatherless. Because, you know, a lot of times we sit back and we look at that as forfeits the terms of somebody who daddy is not there. Maybe a single parent. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even to the simple fact that when you mention widow, somebody whose daddy has died. So we have to turn around and see how he would be a father to the fatherless. Hold on, where my verse at? I gotta grab my other book right now. I have to make my brain this one. I gotta grab my other book right now. Well, he talk about I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? Everybody has the same creator, but everyone does not have the same father. That has to be known, that has to be understood, and that has to be dealt with. Malachi chapter 2, verse 8. Malachi chapter 2, verse 8. Then after that, John chapter 8, verse 44. And then I'll just mention the other ones. Matter of fact, we might not even read John 8 and 44. I just gonna mention it to you. You go pull it on your own time. But ye are departed out of the way. You have caused many to stumble at the Torah. You have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all people, according as you have not kept my ways, but have been partial in my Torah. So we need to look at that. He said he made him very contemptible. And he made him base. When we're going to look at that there, man, I'm going to try to roll it quickly as possible. We're going to look at something in Malachi chapter 2 first and foremost. When we look at it, he say they departed out of the way. Now, we done talked about that way before, and that's the way to the highest that covers sins. That's that Dirach, right? He said he caused many to stumble at the Torah, and you have corrupted the covenant of Levi. So when we sit back and you look at corrupted, to destroy or to go to ruin or to decay, to be spoiled, to be injured, to be rotted. Then he says he caused many to stumble at the Torah. What's up, kid? Oh, she didn't even do that. Say he caused many to stumble at the Torah. Let's look at that. Let's look at that stumble. Let's look at that stumble. To stagger, to totter, to be feeble, to make weak, to bereave, or to fall. And that word is kashal. And we're going to sit back and continue and look at Torah one more time. We're going to look at Torah one more time. Because I know I was just talking to you about this. So we're going to look at it. This is law, direction, or instruction, or a body of prophetic teaching, or codes of law, or custom, or manner. So look, keep the key thing when he say of prophetic teaching. Now, before we even go any further, because he say he calls them to stumble at the Torah. So before we go any further, let's look at Isaiah chapter 8 and about verse 10. And after we look at Isaiah chapter 8, verse 10, we're going to look at 1 Peter chapter 2. Well, Peter quote. That is whole Malachi chapter 2. We're going to finish Psalm 68. We might not get past verse 5. Because I want you to look at how did he corrupt the covenant of Levi? How did he cause them to stumble at the Torah? And then we'll keep it moving. Isaiah 8 and 10, right? Listen what he tell you. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for Elohim is with us. Now see, right this here, I done dealt with this particular verse. It was probably about 2-3 years ago. And Most High Winning has been in my head attacking at a different angle. And that's every Christian's favorite verse. and that's no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. But they never read the rest of the verse. The rest of the verse says, and every tongue that rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Say, this is the heritage of the servants of Yahuwah. The first time I dealt with it was to show how every time the people came at the master, that nothing that they did gained at all. And every time he opened his mouth against them in judgment, they were condemned every time and left him alone. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to try to move on and look at that from a different aspect. I also got in my mind to deal with something with that verse when he said, you generation of vipers of snakes. So you can see that there's always been a generation of wicked, deplorable, despicable people amongst the children of Yasharal. They ain't never been different. And the fact that he said he came to bring peace, not to bring peace, but a sword. And to sit back and show that from the beginning, that the time that he made this people, he always separated those that were his from those that weren't, even in the midst of them being named after the name of Yasharal. Just because you are this man's bloodline and seed does not mean that you belong to him. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing we finna look at when we're talking about a father of the fatherless, because everyone does not have the same father. I don't care nothing about it if you know you Yasharal. You talking about you don't eat no pork and keep Sabbath, that don't make this man your father though. See, we've been talking about that as forth as becoming the son. See, everybody is not of this man's progeny. Everybody is not of this man's offspring. You know what I'm saying? All that everybody doing, they believe the same thing we do. Honestly, everybody don't. You know what I'm saying? It manifests in their behavior and things. I posted something the other day, like, about a reprobate mind. I'm going to tell you why I did that. Because I was listening to brothers have a discussion. They were having a discussion on why they felt it was right to celebrate Christmas. And if you would have heard some of the things that this dude said, one of these dudes says that saying it's not in the Bible is not a good enough reason not to do it. To say that I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? And this man say, so what if the book don't say his birthday ain't on this? Like the stuff they were saying, I'm like, dang. Oh, you're going to have to show me a Christmas tree is pagan. You're going to have, y'all just quoting the same sources. I'm like, what? Like, I ain't know nothing about no word, and I knew Christmas was pagan. I learned that in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like 24 years old. I'm reading this right here for myself. This is a son. Like, no matter what you can say, ain't nowhere in the world you can put the son of the living Elohim on that and say that he stamped that. You know what I'm saying? You're doing exactly what he told you not to do in the law, and that is take these people practices and make them yours and put his name on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're doing. And the fact that he feel like he justified with it. And I'm going to tell you something. Most brews feel like a lot of stuff they be doing, they feel like they justified with it, feel like you're not going to answer for it. And that's evidence that this man can't be your father. Because Revelation 21:8 say, or 21:7 say, if you overcome, he'll be your father and you'll be his son. So a lot of dudes is not overcoming, so they showing that you're not his son. That is a scary proposition. That should cause you to adjust every aspect of your life, how you moving, how you think, all that. How you even view your service to Elohim. Because that's a scary fact for this man to look you in your face and say you a bastard when you know that man law say a bastard's not entering into his body forever. And dudes want to argue about bastard mean mamzizer. Okay, whatever it may mean in Hebrew, nigga, you know what this prophetic teaching telling you about. You going to hell, boy. That don't bother you? You know what I'm saying? That don't bother you? Dudes arguing about should you eat somebody's plate on Christmas? Oh, I don't worship an idol. It ain't like this here. Like, come on, bro. Where does it stop? Because you feel like I'm not condemned in my heart, so I'm going to do it. What? That doesn't make sense. So now what it ends up with, the reason why I mentioned that, okay, you do what you want to. But what it looks at is your ration. If you start rationalizing something like that, then where does it stop? You know what I'm saying? Because you have some people say commit adultery don't condemn me in my heart, so I'm going to sleep with this man's wife. You know what I'm saying? Telling lies. I'm not condemned in my heart when I lie to this person. So I feel like it's not wrong. Where does it stop? That's not a great way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't stop. If you're going to do it in one area, you just give it time, it's going to happen. It's just going to be a snowball effect. Where we at? Isaiah 8:11. For Yahuwah spake thus to me with a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say ye not a confederacy to all them to whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify Yahuwah of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense to both of the houses of Yasharal, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken and snared, and be taken. Now remember, say he calls people to stumble at the Torah. This is what he say, that he say you corrupted. He say the priest's lips should keep nodding. So he's saying this priest is causing people to stumble at the Torah, and he done corrupted this covenant of Levi. And the reason why we looking at this here, because I have to deal with something in the future that we talked about for a while. Because dudes always screaming, you got to prove me you a Levitical priest. If you ever hear anybody say that somebody got to prove they're a Levite, just know that you're speaking to a spiritually and scripturally ignorant individual. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even finna go forth as using other adjectives for all this here, man. It's just going to be just plain and honest with it. You're speaking to a spiritual and scriptural ignorant individual. And if a person tells you that somebody got to prove they're a Levite to preach the word of this, that, there, and the third, that's somebody you don't even want to entertain because they don't really know what they're talking about. Because he say the Levi's been corrupted. This has been ruined. This has been destroyed. So we have to look at how is this priesthood of Levi destroyed? How is this man a father to the fatherless? How does this pertain to Mashiach? How would it turn around and pertain to us? Because we don't even sit back and look at that we were fatherless. So somebody had to come and be a father to the fatherless, just like someone was a father to the fatherless for him. Come on back over here to 1 Peter chapter 2. Remember now, and we looked at that Torah also means, because you know, like this here, right? People like this here. Torah just ain't stopping that law. The book actually tells you, the word actually tells you that this word also means a prophetic message. This is why the master said in Psalms 10, this is why John chapter 10, this is why he said, is it not written in your Torah that ye are gods? Because that was a prophetic message in Psalms 82 and 6. Or when he said, is it not written in your law, they shall hate me without a cause? That is a prophetic message that was speaking about somebody. So we have to always remember that Torah is not regulated till thou shalt not. It's not regulated to that. You could look at the whole scriptures, Torah and Tanakh, as Torah. You don't even got to call it Tanakh. You can call it Torah because there's prophetic messages throughout the entire Tanakh. So you could call that Torah in itself because that's a direction. That's a direction that the master had to follow to complete. He had to go do that because his daddy told him to go do it. You see what Mordecai did? Go do that. You see what Esther did, son? Go do that. You see what Isaiah did? Go do that. That's an instruction. We don't even look at it that way because we just look at it as laws. Because that's all we ever focus on. That's why we ain't got no strength. 1 Peter chapter 2, what it is? Verse 8. Make it 7. He say, unto you therefore which believe, he is precious. Unto them which be disobedient. The stone which the builders disallowed, the same is the head of the corner. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. Now you have to understand that there are some people that, look what he say, being disobedient. Being disobedient just ain't about keeping no laws. They didn't believe the word. They didn't believe the word. Remember we looked at John chapter 7 and it said there was many divisions about him. He say, man, what prophet's supposed to come out of Galilee? The prophet say he's supposed to come out of Bethlehem. They say, well, Mashiach come and work as many miracles as this man worked. Because I don't think nobody finna come and do what this man done did. All this stuff, you can turn around and you can look at it this way, right? Look at Matthew chapter 22 and look how they stumbled at the law. Matthew 22 and 22. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up a seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise the second also, and the third unto the 7th. And last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Now, they mentioned in Deuteronomy 25, right? And they stumbling at the law, thinking about all they was concerned with was she ain't had no kid. Who gonna have her? It's no different when they stumbled at the law when they asked him in Matthew 22 about Psalms 110. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah said unto my master, sit here at my right hand. Because they couldn't see it was about him. They couldn't even see that he was the one who was going to raise up a seed unto his brother. You know what I'm talking about? They can't even see that there because he the one died and his wife he ain't leave no seed behind. So this man resurrected from the dead to be able to raise up a seed unto his brother. Basically raise a seed up unto himself. You saying we don't even sit back and look at that. This man actually died so he could raise up a seed unto himself. Because Yasharal had no children. She was barren. There were no sons of Elohim. You know what I'm saying? Her husband died and left her with no seed.
Right.
So this man resurrected from the dead in order to produce seed for her so this name would not be put out. See, we don't even look at it that way. Because this man died. Yahusha walk around the planet. He dies. His wife has no seed. He resurrects himself.
Right.
Well, the Father resurrects him. He gets up, and now the name of Yahshua is completed, because now you got 2 Timothy 2:19. The Master knows those that are his, and everyone that named the name of Mashiach, let him depart from iniquity. Because now you have a name, because the whole family in heaven and Shamahim and the rats is named after this man. Now you carry this man's name. Now you actually have a father, when you didn't have a father before. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Now look at what the master told him. Yahusha answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of Elohim. So he told him right there, y'all stumbling at it right now. Or what about the other instance in Luke chapter 4 when he read to him Isaiah 61 and said this was talking about me, and they stumbled. It was many times when they see, because Revelation 19:10 says the testimony of Yahusha is the ruach of prophecy. So all the things in the word were about him. This is why he say the builder. Look what it is. Matthew 21, right here. Matthew 21:42. Just look what he tell him. Just look what the master tell him. Yahusha saith unto them, did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner? This is Yahuwah's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. See, Yahusha is that chief cornerstone, the stone that people are tripping over. Every time they read these scriptures, every time they read these passages, they stumble. They stumbling because they can't see this man in the book. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 14. And guess what? It's many people who are stumbling at the law right now. They're stumbling at the prophetic message of Yahushua HaMashiach to their own destruction. They stumbling. Make it 13. Well, make it 12. 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Yasharal could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. But their minds were blinded, for unto this day remain the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Mashiach. This is why your people stumble. And what we're going to look at, what they stumbling is, he said, you corrupt the covenant of Levi. You have corrupted that agreement. You made it ruined. You made it staggered. You made it fall. You made it worthless. Let's come back to Malachi chapter 2 and finish that. So where we start that? I'm going to read verse 8. Now look how I say you depart, but ye departed out of the way. So we're going to have to, because we talk about Mashiach right now. So y'all should know how he departed out of the way. But if not, we'll make it plain. You have caused many to stumble at the Torah. You have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all people, according as you have not kept my ways, but have been partial in my Torah. Have we not all one Father? Have not one Elohim created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Now let's sit back and look at this, right? He said he made him contemptible and base. When we look at contemptible, that is baza, that is despised or to hold in contempt or disdain, to be vile and to be worthless. Then when we turn around and we look at base, that is shafal, and that's to be low or humbled or humiliated. And he said, you have not kept my ways, but you've been partial. So when we look at this word partial, we got nasa, and that is literally to lift up. Listen what he says: to lift up, to bear, to carry, to take, to support, to endure, to rise up, to exalt itself. So isn't this something that when it sit back and said he's been partial in his law, that it's sitting here telling you that he'll take up the law and carry it? So again, if we sit back and we look at what he just said, that word for partial mean, then what are we sitting back looking at? What is it actually telling us about? What you think it's telling us about? Looking at it, the word that's actually there, how they would have read it. Let me read that again, how they would have actually read it. They wouldn't have read partial like we read in partial, because we know a partial, that means you picking and choosing, right? Mm-hmm. But we look at it in what it should say. With Nassau, we're going to look at lift up, bury. Lift up, to lift, I'm sorry, to bear up, to carry, to take, to bear, to carry, to support, to sustain, to endure.
You trying to justify yourself in the law.
No, when this one here, you actually going to be sitting back looking at, when he say to lift up or to bear up or to carry, you looking at the master's execution. You know what I'm saying?
You put him, you execute him by your lack of faith in him.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't even sitting back. So when they would have, this is why the master, if we actually look at it in our language, like if we had the opportunity to actually write it out in our language and then have the words that what it means off to the side, then we would get the understanding of why the master said, why could you not understand that I had to suffer? Because the book is, just like we looked at when he say the sons appointed to death. You know what I'm saying? It's literally, they were literally reading about someone suffering. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't catch it. They didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? When we look at it in our language, we don't, and this is why they probably wanted it in English so bad. Because in English, you actually can't see his suffering. You know what I'm saying? It's not as readily accessibly seen. You know what I'm saying? As when you look at it in our language, it's like plain, like this book is really talking about somebody who's going to die.
But it don't make it seem like that because so many niggas still stumbling at it.
Exactly. And why were they stumbling at it? Because just like what Peter said, they blind. They disobedient, they unbelieving. They didn't actually believe that someone of that great of a power would have to suffer and die. Because they had in their mind what they felt like he should be. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we be messing up at. We want to tell Elohim how he ought to operate. When his operation, what it's going to be for your perfection. This is why the writer of the epistle of Abarim of Hebrews tell you that the captain of your salvation was made perfect through sufferings. You know what I'm saying? Why is it steadily talking about suffering, suffering, suffering? Why is in the New Testament it's always talking about suffering? But then when you seem to read the Old Testament, you don't really seem to catch that. You know what I'm saying? But in that actuality, it's through that the whole time because all you see about is people suffering for doing right. So we have to turn around and be able to sit back and look at that. So now let's turn around and look at this here, right? He said you departed out of the way. Let's look at departed too. Because he said you departed out of the way of the highest that covers sins. So when we look at departed, that's sir, and that's to turn aside or to depart from the way or to come to an end, to remove or to take away, to put away or dispose or to put aside or to abolish. So now if he say to look at to abolish, then what will we be thinking about if you departed out of the way? That means something's being destroyed, right? Let's look at what was destroyed in Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 7. And this is why when we talk to a lot of people, they say, oh, y'all sound like Christians or this, that, there, and the third. Because they're not really. That's why the man say search the scriptures. We already dealt with this in Numbers 21 when he said to dig a well and it meant to search. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to diligently search in the scriptures for the testimony of the captain of your salvation so that you can see what he worked for you. So that you could be in him and he be in you, and that you could be justified by that faith in him. Because Most High willing, I still got that coming, which is that no one has ever been saved by the law. They were always saved by faith. And you sit back and you wonder why people saying this and saying that, because they don't really believe. You know what I'm saying? People don't really believe no matter how much they scream. Because if you hear this man preach, and this man say in Romans chapter 10 that Mashiach is the purpose of the Torah for righteousness, for all those that believe, and you seeing people saying, well, hey, man, I can't stop doing this, or I can't stop doing. I ain't talking about you just started. I'm talking about you've been doing it for a year. You've been doing it for 2. You've been doing it for 3. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in the world you can ever be stagnated in Mashiach. Then the problem is not with the word. The problem is with you. Because he said, you have not so heard if you've been taught Mashiach. He said, if you walking in darkness and this, that, there, and the third, he said, you have not long so heard. You have not been heard this if you've been taught about Mashiach. This man ain't taught you that. You know what I'm saying? Look, my friend was telling me about something. I seen it earlier, you know, look like one of the brothers was starting something with some dude in his inbox and want to screenshot it, show it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? All dudes want to do is argue and banter about vanity. You know what I'm saying? How do you expect any type of spiritual maturation and growth if you want to do is argue and banter about vanity? You know what I'm saying? What good is this going to do me? You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you don't establish Esau ain't white, why are we still talking about it? You know what I'm saying? Let them people alone, let them believe what they want to believe. If you done established the 12 tribe chart is false, why are we still talking about it? You know what I'm saying? Why are we arguing about this and arguing about that? Niggas still dying in the street, and I ain't talking about dying in the street from committing crimes. You know what I'm saying? Or getting killed by the police. I'm talking about they dying in their sins every day. Brother told me that Hebrews was singing up and down because Ricky Harris died. I forgot Ricky Harris was in that video with Mike Epps when they were clowning them boys. Remember that video Mike has made? I forgot Ricky Harris was in that with him too. They said that was the most highest judgment. Nigga, that was like 4 or 5 years ago, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? And then at a certain yeah, he was mocking them. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you niggas ain't a y'all. Nigga, I don't care what you say. I don't care how long you say you been doing it. Because boy, if you was a y'all would have killed him ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Irregardless of him mocking you in the video, we know this man was living contrary to the word. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm thinking to myself, you niggas gonna get the same judgment he getting. Why you pointing, jumping up and down about him? Nigga, you not right. You ain't got no breath in you. If he clip your wings today, boy, you gonna wake up in line with him like, shoot, boy. Why I'm in line with you? Huh? We spread many great things in your name. Did many great works. Depart from me, you work of iniquity. I never knew you. You know what I'm saying? Man, just saying that you mentioning this man's name or you keeping a little bit of laws here and there, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's not going to skate you out of no judgment, man, if you're not 100% earnest with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this thing is not hard. The only hard part about this is getting out of your own way. You know what I'm saying? All you need to do is just get out of your own way. If you recognize certain people around you wicked or evil, deal with them accordingly. You know what I'm saying? One of the most, also I say this here, that's the second most difficult thing. The most difficult thing is getting out of your own way. The second most difficult thing is accepting the fact that there's certain people around you that you may have had dealings with, you know what I'm saying, in the word or cared about or loved are actually evil. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing to deal with. You know, the master would walk around knowing Judas was evil. You know what I'm talking about? Knowing this man was going to kill him. Ain't too many of us would have walked around and been kind and been humble with somebody you knew was going to set you up to be killed. You know what I'm saying? And still walk uprightly. He knew all these people hated him. You can read all these instances of all these prophets that know all these people who are around them that they didn't actually love and care about them. You know what I'm saying? But you still have to deal. You can't let that weigh on you to the point where it can affect you negatively. That's easier said than done now. It takes a lot of strength in the word to be able to execute it, but it can be done. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it as I'm saying that's just an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a saddening thing to do. Because you're watching somebody kill themselves. All because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's why we're going to be dealing with the generations of vipers and snakes. Because this people have always hated those that were right. You know what I'm saying? You think Abel hated his brother because he wanted to do what was right. But Cain couldn't stand this man. What did Abel do to Cain? Abel ain't do nothing to Cain. He just stood on the word. But this is his brother though. You have to keep this stuff in mind. It is what it is. That's why we dealing. We ain't all got the same father. Where I'm at, Hebrews chapter 8 verse 7. He say, for if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For then finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days cometh, saith Yahuwah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and the house of Yehudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by their hand to lead them out of Mishrai, of the land of Mishraim, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah. For this is the covenant I will make with the house of Yasharal after those days, saith Yahuwah. I will put my Torah into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them my Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. Now sit back looking at, knowing that, right? Follow me now. Sit back knowing that Torah meaning also prophetic message, right? That's what it said one of the meanings was. It was prophetic message. He said, I'll put this in your mind and in your heart. So let's look at Romans chapter 10 and look exactly what he would put in your mind and your heart. Because we read about this in Galatians chapter 4. He said that he will put the ruach of his son in you, and you will say, Abba, Father. What did the master pray in John 17? I in them, and thou in me. You know what I'm saying? So that means the testimony of the son is supposed, the son of the living Elohim is supposed to be inside of you. Then we'll read John 7:37 just on John. Romans 10. At the end of the day, that's what we really got to, like I said, right? We know we're supposed to keep these laws in the street. We know we're supposed to keep these laws and instructions. And the only reason why we're not going over them all the time is because most of y'all already know them. If someone new come around and they got questions, then we'll take the time and sit them down and show them that. But what we focusing on more so than anything is that your faith needs to be made complete so that you can have the victory. Victory over the world and victory over your flesh, or victory over yourself. And the only way you're going to have victory over yourself, because he say, who is he that overcome the world, but he that believe that YAHUSHA is the son of Elohim. That's the only way you're going to overcome yourself and overcome the flesh. Is you're going to have to do what he did. You're going to have to be kashal, or partial in the law. You're going to have to take up your stake and follow him. Because see, this man stumbled at the law, or caused many to stumble at the law, or to come out, he departed out of the way, I should say, pardon me. He abolished this covenant in order to give you something greater. He corrupted the covenant of Levi so you could have something eternal. And see, we don't look at it in this instant so that you could no longer be a fatherless child. So he could be a father to the fathers, because you ain't had no father when you committed sin. So I mentioned John 8:44, I didn't say it. It says, you have of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. We all know that we were all governed by our flesh and moved according to the prince of the power of the air when we were in our sins. But now, while we were dead in our trespasses, we've been made alive by Mashiach. By favor, you are saved. See, this is what this man talking about by departing out of the way and corrupted in the covenant of Levi. Let me reread that again, make it straight out. Let's say, he said, you departed out of the way and caused many to stumble at the law. You have corrupted the covenant of Levi. Therefore, I've made you contemptible and base. So when we sit back and look at contemptible again, because I forgot what it meant just that fast. And that's that bazar. That's literally meaning to despise, or they hated him. So he sat back and he made this man to be hated, and he humbled him. So if you're going to actually be saved, then guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to be hated and you're going to be humbled. You know what I'm saying? Dudes try to make themselves be hated. Of course, if you go into a Christian church going against everything that people ever heard, they're going to hate you, nigga. What you think they're going to do? You think they're going to say, oh, brother, we appreciate that truth. You know what I'm saying? You walking in on them people's Sunday service, coming at them. What you think they're going to do? They're going to get defensive. The same thing a Hebrew would do if somebody walked into your class or your temple or your synagogue in your house and came at you, you're going to get defensive. If they say you in a cult or they say y'all ain't Israelites, you're going to put your fists up. You're going to be ready to fight. It's not going to be conducive. It's not going to be a beneficial conversation. Ain't nothing good going to come from it. See, dudes done took the word and turned it into a battle rap. You know what I'm saying? That's all they done took the word and did with it. If they ain't making merchandise out of the people, they took it as something to get some fame and a name, just like Christian pastors do, or they took it for something to fight about. But what about the people, though? What about them, though? You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care about them because it ain't about y'all. It's about them individuals. They want a name. Like dudes hitting, like I said, I'm tripping. I can tell you no lie. It was hilarious now. To hear this dude go off on set, it was hilarious now. Because he meant every single solitary word of it, what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, he actually showed the intents and thoughts of his heart because he made it about himself and it wasn't about the people. And most Israelites do the same thing. They make it about themselves. It's not about the people. If you tell me about you and how great you are and what you doing, then I know, then who you doing it for? Because you getting the honor. The master said, he that bring honor to himself. The master said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man speak of himself, he say, I have to read it to you because I don't even want to quote the man wrong. I'm going to read it after this, Romans chapter 10. 10 and 7. Well, 10 and 8. Romans 10 and 8. Then I'll get John 7 and 17. But what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith which we preach. Remember, he quoting Deuteronomy 30, man. The word of faith is what we preach. That's Torah. Word of faith. So if we're looking at that's in the Torah, and that's a prophetic message. That means the law, the Torah is your schoolmaster to bring you to Mashiach. That means that's prophecy to point you to this man. He say, for if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the master YAHUSHA and believe in thy heart that Elohim hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart man believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. See, it's a lot of people confess that they believe in this man, but they really don't because they've never actually heard this man. They've never actually heard this man. I have to tell y'all this over and over again. We don't dig this man out as forth. It's no flexing or no knowledge. It's only by the favor of Yahuwah B'Shem Yahushua that we even know it. The purpose of it is for us to become sons and daughters of Elohim. That's the purpose. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't supposed to sit back and look at other people like, oh, y'all ain't nothing because y'all don't know this and y'all don't know that. You actually should sit back and look at them with some sadness and pray to Yah that he touched the person that's teaching them so they can be getting that, so they can be saved, because they're not going to be saved without it. You're not going to be saved without it. Because he said the prophecy, he said he caused it to stumble out the way. The master went out of the old way. He went out of the old covenant to establish a new one. He said, take, drink. This is my blood for the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. That was not under the old. You couldn't get eternal life under the old. That man went outside of that. And because he went outside of that, the Father had to kill him. And in the process of the Father had to kill him, guess what that made Mashiach? Fatherless. But even in the midst of being fatherless, he was only fatherless for a time. Because we were fatherless. So he, in order for him to be a father to the fatherless, he had to understand and know what that feels. That's why he said that he didn't put on the nature of Malachi, but he took on the seed of Abraham, so he could be an aid and a help and a relief. How could he know how to be a father to the fatherless if he hadn't had that happen to him? This is where you begin to look at and understand what a mighty Savior we have. Don't know other people. Ain't nobody else sitting back talking about they got a Savior that can understand what that's like, because we were fatherless. We had no Elohim at that time. We were separated from him. He says, my arm is not shortened that I cannot save, nor is my ear heavy that I cannot hear. Your sins have separated you from your Elohim, that he cannot, that he won't save and he won't hear. So people don't even sit back and realize the only reason why he didn't let us come to total destruction, which is, as Jeremiah mentioned in Lamentations, is because of his mercies and the covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because we were fatherless children. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, we were fatherless children. If you are walking contrary to the law, this man cannot be your father. This man say, if you commit sin, you are of the devil. He said, if you're born of Elohim, you don't commit sin. He said, and this are the sons of the devil and the sons of Elohim manifested. That means now we're able to know who is your father. You know what I'm saying? If you are committing sin, you are fatherless. If you have not been born again, you are fatherless. You don't have a father yet. So then that means that in order to have a father, you have to be born of someone. So you have to be born of Elohim for Mashiach to be your father. And then he can be a father to a fatherless, because what do fathers do? They teach, they provide, they protect, they nurture. That's what they do. That's what Mashiach come to do. You know what I'm saying? But we don't look at it in that aspect because we caught up on, where's that in the law, brother? That's not in the, I just seen somebody show me where it says thou shalt not gamble. This what you worry about, nigga? This what you worry about, nigga? Niggas dying out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually dying. Every day. Before we even talk about physically dying. They spiritually dying every day. And we worrying about, can you gamble or not? Like, I ain't talking about you asking a sincere question. You're putting that out there for an argument. You know what I'm saying? Hebrews calling on Allah. Yeah, we ain't on that. But if them niggas want to argue about Arabic and Aramaic and Hebrew or close languages, and they let them have that. I'm not finna entertain that argument, because you're not gonna get nowhere with that. Because I know I'm not finna call this man no Allah. Nigga, I know who Allah is. You know what I'm saying? And niggas can say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? I studied Islam for 14 years. I have enough sense to know not to even engage that conversation, because that's what knowledge ends up doing, because you feel like things that you know are blatantly wrong, ain't nothing wrong. Well, you know the languages sound the same, but you know this is another deity. Just to say that Allah is the name just means God is a real complacent attitude, because the book say there are gods of many. There are many gods, but only one creator. So yeah, it only mean God. But what God you calling on, idiot? That's what nigga didn't think about. Yeah, it mean God. So what? Does that mean you calling on the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? No, clown. You're calling on the moon God. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even think. It's like knowledge causes niggas' brains to go numb. You know what I'm saying? It's like your brain go numb. The book literally tell you there are gods of many, but only one creator. It's many gods now. Nigga, they got a religion for Beyonce. Beyonce done came a nigga God. You know what I'm saying? You got humanist teachings that teach man to make himself God. That's all that stuff with these Egyptian niggas on. The black woman is God. See, she asexually reproduced, and niggas believe this and regurgitate it. How could you be so dumb to look a grown person in the face and say, hey, you know women asexually reproduce? That's why the X chromosome look like this. See, that's how you know the black woman is God. But we ain't like, what? Are you serious? And people go for this. And they go for it. And they go for it. You got dudes really saying Yahuwah got a wife, and they go for it. That's why you better guard your heart. This is what he say in verse 11. For the scripture saying, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. John 7:37 before I read John 7:17. So you're sitting back looking at it. This is what the thing is. This man's supposed to be inside of you. That's why we go over where this man's at in the book. How can you believe on somebody you don't know? How can you believe on someone you've never heard of? It's just deeper. See, Christ came to show you how to keep the law. No, he didn't, nigga. He came to show you to believe. He came to show you that your Elohim reigns. And that he's merciful, and that he's forgiven to give you an opportunity to become a son of Elohim. The law was just a caveat. Well, when they talk about Mashiach, ain't that's all they talk about? He just showed you how to keep the law. That's all he came to do? And to put away animal sacrifices. That's it. That's all he came to do. Come on, man. John 7:37. You got to do better than that. And that day, in that last day, that great day of the feast, Yahusha stood and cried, saying, if any man think, let him come unto me and drink. He that believe on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Ruach, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Ruach HaKodesh was not yet given, because Yahusha was not yet esteemed. That's what it's all about. Now let's look at John 7:17. You know, I'm thinking about something too when I sit back and look at this, right? Because that's all the brews want to talk about, right? Is he teach the law of sacrifices, right? And the brother I was telling you I was talking to about the nigga when the nigga was wilding on the stat about the weightlifter. He was like, yeah, man. He said, man, them dudes just flex that knowledge to try to impress them women. I said, I can't even front. I said, they do. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, they feel like them women supposed to submit to him because they got some knowledge. I said, yeah, you right. I can't even say nothing against. Now, this brother know we bruised, but he don't be really on it. Like you see a multifaceted individual, he don't be really on that all the time. Plus, he look at a lot of them niggas squares. He a street dude. You know what I'm saying? So he look at these dudes like they lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, my nigga, this is what you on? Like, dudes who ain't really got that type of spirit. So I'm gonna tell you something, right? And then brews who feel like they spiritual get mad at you and call you religious when you stick with what the book say.
Oh yeah, that's how me and my cousin.
You know what I'm saying? When you stick, because a lot of brews say that, see, we got to get out that religious mind. Like I seen this shit talking about dealing with chakras and yoga. I'm like, nigga, I ain't messing with no chakras, nigga. Nigga, I know, see, I studied chakras in prison before I even dealt with the word. I'm not fooling with that. I don't believe that's of my Elohim. I'm straight on that. See, that's where religion come in at, brother. See, you need to know, my nigga. See, you calling me religious is your cop-out for me not agreeing with what you want. You know what I'm saying? See, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit back and look at that. See, that's what brew niggas do when you don't agree with them. See, brother, you too religious. So you got to let that religious mind state go. Nigga, what is a religious mind state, nigga? But then you get on these Christian people talking about, see, y'all keep the Sabbath on the wrong. So is you religious for messing with the people on that, nigga? Y'all got all that pork y'all cooking. Y'all don't know Christmas is pagan. Well, who's religious now, nigga? Because they feel the same way about you, nigga. They feel like you religious and you legalistic. So you can't, don't turn around and hit hypocrite. Don't hit me with that when the nigga hit you with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stick with what the book say. I ain't come to make friends no way. And this is what he means when he say he'll make you contemptible and base. Because I'm telling you what, boy, when people go to hating you, that'll make get you humble real fast, boy. When you turn around and look at it, you ain't got no friends. You know what I'm talking about? Don't nobody really love you and care about you. I'm telling you, man, I done told y'all this before. It's a sad reality. Most of the people you around don't really love you. I'm talking about in the sense of how Elohim say somebody ought to love you. They don't really love you. Because anybody that would be cool with you going against the word, compromising the word, and they ain't got no problem with you doing it, or would even invite you to do it, or even suggest that you should do it, they do not love you according to the word of Elohim, because no one who would love you would do that. They're not going to do it. Just bottom line, it's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just reality. Even some of the people who you round in the word, they don't really love you. Not in earnest. Because all the people that love Mashiach, he said he came into his own received him not. What make you think it's going to be different for you if you say you a son or daughter of Elohim and everybody love you? That man say, woe unto you if everyone speak well of you. as their fathers did to the false prophet. There's a problem if everybody love you. There's a problem with that. See, I seen the sister like this here. He say, see, that's the problem. See, we supposed to show love and kindness. I was telling y'all about that when they talking about not eating nobody Christmas food. That ain't showing me I ain't showing nobody no hatred and no love and kindness because I'm not going to participate in that just to make them feel better. You know what I'm saying? That's what nigga problem is. You think compromising the word, like somebody said, well, as long as you've been around them, is that brought them to the word? Now I'm a little different. Now, I felt it on this point. Now, I'm not going to be coming around hitting you with the word because that's what a lot of Hebrew niggas do, and that be rubbing people wrong. If them people ain't in the word, leave them people alone. Leave them people alone. You ain't got to be mentioned. You know that's a sin for you to be eating that ham sandwich. You ain't got to do all that, nigga. I told y'all, man, Lil Muffin is a living witness, and I'm talking about you could tell it, I ain't say nothing to Muffin about nothing. You know what I'm saying? If she didn't come ask me no questions, I ain't say nothing to her. You know what I'm talking about? My sister knew I used to sell crack. I used to do this. I used to do that. I knew that if I lived it and she seen it and it was consistent, she'll want to do it. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because Lil Mo can tell you, I ain't coming up face and be like, you need to do this. You need to do that. That's a sin for you. How dare you keep Christmas? I ain't ever come at Lil Mo down here, why you keeping Christmas? That's pagan. I ain't do it like that. For what? For what? What are you accomplishing from that? You're accomplishing by exalting yourself and your pride and the knowledge that you believe that you have, flexing that on individuals while you borderline belittling them. You know what I'm saying? Because, nigga, you used to celebrate it, nigga. Leave the people alone. Live it. That's all you got to do. If they not moved by you living it, they ain't gonna never be moved. What I'm talking about is if they don't ask. Don't run up on nobody and be hitting them with no word and they ain't asked you for it. You know what I'm saying? Leave them people alone. If you done already stated, this is what I believe, this is what I follow, that's all you need to do. If they want to know more, you know that people have no problem asking. So tell me, Will, why do you not do that? I'm interested in knowing. You know what I'm saying? If they genuinely want to know, they'll ask. You ain't got to be running up on nobody. This is not the new year. How was the new year in the dead of winter? Man, leave the people alone, nigga. The people want to go get drunk Saturday night, let the people go get drunk, and they're going to get drunk regardless of what you say. You know what I'm talking about? They finna get freaky. They finna have their little babies in the diaper. They finna be counting down. They finna be doing all that. Leave them people alone. Yeah, they had a New Year's baby. Put them in a diaper. You ain't never seen a New Year's baby. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they had a New Year's baby.
Y'all know about the baby, man?
Yeah, they had a New Year's baby, man. Have them a little top hat and a diaper. You know, the people crazy, man. John 7:17. I'm just telling them people crazy. All I'm telling you is what I seen. That's all I'm telling you. 7:16, my apologies. YAHUSHA answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of Elohim or whether I speak of myself. He that speaketh of himself seek his own esteem, but he that seek his esteem that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in it. That's how you know these dudes fall, because these dudes be seeking their own esteem. They don't be seeking the esteem of the person who son them. So coming back to the point, because we got to get ready to run down, it is 8:40. So when he look at it, we already dealt with how he called people to stumble at the law. He caused them to stumble at the law because they didn't believe that he was the son of Elohim. Their hearts were blinded. When we look at departing out of the way, the master actually removed himself from the old covenant to bring in the new. When we look at corrupted the covenant of Levi, we need to look at how did Mashiach corrupt the covenant of Levi. Let's look at John chapter 19, verse 27. Somebody add about, I think that was Little Stanley add about that the other day. We'll look at it right now and show you how he was a father to the fatherless. Well, we started out in Psalm 68 and 5. And then we'll deal with him corrupting in the covenant of Levi. So after we read this John 19:27, we'll deal with that. John 19:27. Gotta switch books because this book ain't got John 19 in it. John 19:27. 19:27. We dealt with this before. We just gonna rehash it. Ain't gonna go too deep. 19:25. Now therefore stood by the stake of YAHUSHA his mother and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When YAHUSHA therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by whom he loved, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour that disciple took her unto his own home. Now that son right this here, right? If he took her to his own house, now this is going to be truly but speculation. But what could you be able from deductive reason to be able to take? Why, if Joseph was still alive, why would it even be a need for him to take Mary to his house? Would you take a married woman to your house if she had a husband? It wouldn't be no need for him to do that now, would it? Now, we don't have no book to say Joseph is dead, but we also know the custom of our people, though. You know what I'm talking about? Because you ain't finna take nobody's mama to your house if her husband's still alive. That's her husband's responsibility, right or wrong. So if that means he take her to his house to be his mama, we can all be able to deduce that it's a strong possibility that Joseph was dead. You know what I'm talking about? At this particular time. We don't have no book for that. I ain't saying he dead. I'm just saying deductive reason. I'm not saying he dead now. So I don't want nobody to say that I sat back and said that Joseph was dead. But we know the custom of our ancestors, though. You didn't take no married woman to your house and watch over her if her husband was still alive. That's not book. That's not how we operated. Am I lying though? That ain't how we operated. If my wife's still alive, what you taking her to your house for? You need your mama around here. Cause I need somebody to make me something to eat and vacuum this floor. I can't do it no more. I just can't do it. I'm old now. Now also you have to also remember, right? The father turned his back on him. So Mashiach would be fatherless at this point, and he would need someone to be his father. You know what I'm talking about? Because if we sit back and look at from deductive reasoning now and speculation from what we read here, with John taking Mary home to his own house, we would have to be able to deduce from deductive reasoning and speculation that Joseph possibly was dead. You know what I'm saying? And then knowing that Yahuwah has turned his back on his son because his son has become sin, Yahusha has no father.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? On either end.
That speculation could be strong just because Melchizedek didn't have no mother or father. So if he gave Mary away,
Yeah.
he can't be Melchizedek if Joseph's still alive. Just speculation.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at Hebrews chapter 7. I'm just having to preface in that because we don't have 2 or 3 witnesses to validate Joseph being dead. You know what I'm saying? So we have to say deductive reason and speculation. We can't state that as a fact. Not that I'm in any disagreement with what you're saying. That's why we just putting that disclaimer out there for somebody like, this nigga said Joseph was dead. And he ain't like, no, we ain't got no book for that. I don't have nothing to say that Joseph was dead. You know what I'm talking about? Just letting that be known. Because, boy, you know dudes be looking for anything to say now.
False prophet.
And he said Joseph was dead. Some niggas gonna roll with it. Joseph was dead. Ain't gonna sit back and investigate nothing. I know he was dead. I'm dead. You know I ain't lying though. I'm like this here, boy. Praise y'all. I'm gonna cover myself. I'm make sure you don't like this here. Hey man, I'm not saying he was dead, but it looks likely though. It's highly likely. You know what I'm saying? For this Melchizedek, this is verse 1 of Hebrews chapter 7. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Elohim, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and baruched him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that king of Salem, which is king of Shalom. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor ends of life, but made like unto the son of Elohim, and abideth priest continually. Let's drop down to verse 5 because we got to drop down a little lower. Let's drop down to about verse 9. And may I so say, Levi also received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. Listen to what he tell you. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the Torah, what further need was there that another priest should arise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? Did you not see how he say that he corrupted the covenant of Levi? He calls it, now we're going to read the Hebrew word for corrupt again now. He said he corrupted the covenant of Levi. I didn't want y'all to sit back out. Here's another place telling you that was going to come away. And that's shekaf, that's to destroy, to corrupt, to ruin, to decay, to be spoiled. So this man is telling you that this man destroyed the covenant of Levi. We'll look at covenant just on general principle because I got 15 minutes and I got to stop. And that's bereth, and that's a covenant, allegiance, or pledge between men. This is a covenant between men, between Elohim and man. So he's saying this particular priest has destroyed a covenant between Elohim and man because he had to bring something greater in his place. See, we just see the Levi's. He was telling you about something totally different. And we're going to be able to actually look and see how that covenant was corrupted. what actually occurred to cause it to be corrupted, to bring in something better for the salvation of our souls. Verse 12, for the priesthood being changed, there is made a necessity a change also of the Torah. For he whom these things are spoken pertain to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our master sprang out of Yehuda, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. And it is far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arise another priest, who is made not after the Torah of a carnal commandment, but after the power of endless life. For he that testified, thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. For there is truly a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness and the unprofitableness thereof. For the Torah made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto Elohim. So this man is talking about a disannulling or a corruption or destruction of a covenant. A covenant that was after carnal commandment and not after the power of endless life that could produce your salvation. And he sat back and he turned around, he said, and therefore he said to be able, because he destroyed this covenant, he made him hated. Let's look at John chapter 15 so we can see that. And then after that, it said he made him base, and because he kept partial in his law. And we'll look at what that partial in the law means and get ready to wrap it on up. John chapter 15. And after John chapter 15, 2 Timothy chapter 3. John chapter 15, verse 25. That's John chapter 14, ain't it? John 15, verse 25. Make it 22. Matter of fact, just make it 18. John 15 and 18, so you can hear that on now. Because he said he made it contemptible in order for this covenant to be, because he had to destroy this covenant, it would end up making him hated. Because Isaiah 53 tell you that he shall be despised and hated of men. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Understand that when he's stating this, he's talking to other Israelites. He's talking about Israelites are going to hate you. He's talking about your own people are going to hate you. Your own people. Remember what he told you in Luke? He told you your own kin, your mama, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, that they would turn on you. He said, if you were of this world, the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. I want you to have to understand that these people don't know your Father. They don't know him. That's why they do you the way that they... If people actually knew the living Elohim, and if they actually knew Abba Yahuwah, then they wouldn't operate in the fashion that they operate towards you. Even those who claim that they in the faith. So we ain't talking about people who not in the faith. We talking about people who claim that they in the faith. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hate me, hate my Father also. Now sit back and look at it, right? If the covenant, if the departing out of the way was to bring forth the law or Mashiach or the prophetic message or the son of the living Elohim to dwell in you, if this man is in you, of course they're not going to know you. So therefore they're going to hate him. They're going to hate him. They're going to hate you because Mashiach's your father, like Isaiah 9 told you, he'll be the everlasting father. And that means they're going to hate his father. If I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin, but now they have both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this come to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their Torah. They hated me without a cause. That's the same thing when we looked at when David was like, you know what I'm saying? Is there a cause? These people going to hate you for no reason. See, you know what the master told you in Luke chapter 6, you ought to rejoice because you'll be, look at Luke 6 and 26. I know I mentioned something else. I can't remember what it was. Look at Luke 6 and 26. Luke 6 and 26. Well, 6 and 22 actually. He said, Baruch thou ye when men shall hate you, And when they shall separate you from the company and shall reproach you and cast your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. I would just sit back and look at it. People sit back hating you for no reason, dishonoring you for no reason for this man's name's sake. That's a blessed thing. When people stop dealing with you, you know what I'm saying? And he talking about people who's supposed to be in the faith, your own people. You know what I'm saying? He's not talking about sinners. It's not, when I say sinners, I'm talking about heathens. I'm talking about the nations. I'm talking about the Gentile. He's not talking about them. He's talking about your own people. Your own people. This is who he's talking about. He said there'll time come that those will kill you and think they doing Elohim service. Ain't no Gentile gonna be thinking he doing Yahuwah service for killing you. It's gonna be your own people who profess to believe the same thing that you do. They gonna kill you. They gonna turn you over. They gonna hate you. They gonna despise you. They gonna separate themselves from your company. The same people that say they believe what you believe. And you know what the word part is? We be feeling sad and want to cleave to people who doing it to us when actually we actually blessed, and we should be rejoicing that he's separating us from that. Because that means he putting you on the right hand side if that's happening to you. You know what I'm saying? Peter told you, look at 1 Peter chapter 4. Let's look at what 1 Peter chapter 4 is. I know I mentioned something else after that John 15. I can't remember. Oh, the base part, the humbling part. Yeah. Well, this is a part of it. Praise the Lamb. Hallelujah for YAHUSHA. This is a part of it. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 14. Make it 12. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. I get ready to wrap this on up, man. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened to you. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Mashiach's suffering, that when his esteem shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. If you be reproached for the name of Mashiach, Baruch are ye, for the ruach of esteem and of Elohim rest upon you. And on their part he is evil spoken of, on your part he is esteemed. So if this man is in you and you in him and you walking in the word and people doing what he said in Luke, that man say you blessed. That man say the power of Elohim is resting on your head. And Peter is writing the Abarim, the other bruise. So he's not talking about heathens or Gentiles. He's talking about your own people who profess to believe what you believe. Look at John chapter 8 to back it up what I'm telling you now. Y'all got to understand and know that the most hatred that you are going to receive is going to be from people who claim to serve the same power that you serve. That's what most of your hate going to come from. That's what most of your grief is going to come from. John chapter 8, where is that? Verse 39.
After you read it, I got a question.
He said, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Matter of fact, back it up to 37. I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me because my word have no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and you do that which you've seen with your father. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. YAHUSHA saith unto them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. But now you seek to kill me, a man who have told you the truth, which I've heard of Elohim. This did not Abraham? You do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one father, even Elohim. YAHUSHA said unto them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I proceed forth and came from Elohim, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. You see what he said? He said, if Elohim was your father, he said you would love me because I came from him. So you have to understand that. If Yahuwah was really everybody's father and he was your father, then nobody who professed that Yahuwah is their father would have a problem with you. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't occur. That wouldn't happen. Because this is what he just told him, didn't he? He said, if Elohim was your father, you would love me because I come from him. You know what I'm saying? So if you sitting back looking at, if two people are professing that Yahuwah is their Elohim and he their father, and one hate the other, who really is a son of Yahuwah at that point? Go ahead, little Stan.
Oh, well, I just answered it at the end. You say people that's going to hate you and all that, is it these camps that portray they believe in Yahuwah and all that, or it's like people that believe in the faith?
It's going to be anybody who profess that Yah is their power. They gonna be the main ones that hate you. You gotta remember, he say, my own familiar friend is turned. It could be people you sit down and eat with in the word that you feast with on a regular basis that could despise you and can't wait for the opportunity to kill you and reproach you and cast your name as evil. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a man sitting right there with the master and they hated him. Ate with the man, walked with the man. That man say he said a man's enemies will be they of his own household. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be people who know their Hebrews, who profess faith in Yahuwah, who profess faith in Yahusha HaMashiach. These are the people who going to hate you first and hate you the most vehemently. It's not going to be a white man. It's not going to be an Arab. It's not going to be an African. It's going to be your own. Because if we're going to take on Mashiach's sufferings, and he said he came unto his own received him not, and he just sat back and told the people, if Elohim was your father, you would love me because I come from him. And he sat back and told you, if you be reproached for Mashiach, and they cast your name as evil, knowing who they were writing to, that's talking about your own people. That's talking about your own people. This talking about your own people. That means that, man, you always have to remember this here, man. Usually the person that brings somebody down is never somebody far away. It's always somebody close. You know what I'm saying? Judas wasn't somebody at a distance. The scribes and Pharisees couldn't touch him. You know what I'm saying? Who took down Abel? It was his own brother, somebody close. Who took down Joseph? It was somebody close. The people closest to you are always going to be the ones that hate you the most. People from a distance ain't going to hate you as hard as somebody close because they watch and they see what you're doing. That's where the envy and the jealousy come in at. And they mad because you doing something they can't do. And then they want to take you down. Most people, they sit back and look at, oh man, my family hate me, this, that, there, and the third. They're the closest people to you. They're the closest people to you. Most people from the outside don't hate nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know enough about you to hate you or to even be jealous or envious of you. It has to be someone who knows you. Now, we know in a general sense, these people hate us because of who we are and our skin color. You know what I'm talking about? But we talking about defined, specific, despising, and hatred. Man, ain't no Gentiles hate the master. He ain't come around none like that. That was his own people. And he said he would make him contemptible. When we looking at making him base, you know, he told you in Philippians chapter 2 that he humbled himself, even the death of the state. The master said, he come learn of me. I'm lowly in heart and meek. This man was humbled. He said he'd make him base. Read 1 Corinthians. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Sit back and show you something. Why this man do this? I got to wrap this up. I still got a lot on the table. Y'all will not get it on Shabbat. 1 and 25. 1 Corinthians 1 and 25. Because I got to deal with this partial in this Torah. So I can slide on up out of here. I'm at my time limit. I've been at my time limit, but I got to slide on up out of here. He said, because the foolishness of Elohim is wiser than men, and the weakness of Elohim is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, and not many noble are called. But Elohim have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And Elohim have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world, and the things which are despised. Elohim chosen. Yea, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things that are, that no flesh should esteem in his presence. Do you notice that Paul is writing the same thing that Malachi said? Someone who is hated and somebody who is humbled. You know what I'm saying? The master was hated and humbled. How was he humbled? Because he took up his state and he died. You know what I'm saying? He humbled himself up to the point of death. And these people hated this man for that. So these are the people that, that's why he say he resists the proud and give favor unto the humble. And the people who are actually humble, they end up being hated. People who actually humble themselves under the mighty hand of Elohim that he might exalt them, or to what we're going to look at to be partial in this law in due time, they miss it. When we look at that word for partial in Malachi chapter 2, it's nasah. It means to lift, to bear up, to carry, to support, to sustain, to endure. Remember, we already mentioned that Hebrews 2 say that the master became a succorer or an aid and a help and a relief. That's to hold you up. Jude told you in the epistle of Jude that the master is able to keep you from falling, which means he'd be able to sustain you or to bear you. Matter of fact, look at Isaiah 46 when he talking about bearing you up and to lift up and be exalted. So when we look at being partial in the law, he's telling you this man is going to be exalted by the Torah, which is what he said in Isaiah that he said he would make his Torah honorable. You know what I'm saying? He would esteem it. Isaiah 46 and 5. After that, John chapter 12. Everything in this book points to this man, but yet everybody claimed to believe on him. 46 and 3. Make it 3. Listen to what he tell you now. He say, hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Yasharah, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. Even to your old age I am he, even to the hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, I will bear, even I will carry, and will deliver you. So he just sat back and tell you he gonna decide, right? He gonna carry you, right? He gonna sustain you, he gonna hold you up. The master wants to sustain and hold us up, but we refuse to let him in our hearts. We refuse to believe the word. Now let's look at what the master said in John 12 and 33. Make it 31. Because he said he's been partial in the Torah. So he said he's going to lift it, to bear it, to take it, to support it, to exalt, to lift oneself up, to rise up. Listen what it also said, to be born or be carried. Praise Yahuwah B'Shem Yahusha. It's right here in our face. We miss it though. 12 and 30 though. Make it 28. Father, esteem thy name. Then came there a voice from Shamahim saying, I have both esteemed it and will esteem it again. The people therefore that stood by heard it and said that it thundered. Others said, a Malachim spake to him. Yahusha answered and said, this voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is this judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. And if I be lifted up from the rats, will draw all men unto me. This he said, signifying what death he should die. Didn't this man say in John chapter 3, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up? So when we sit back the same thing, when he say he humbled himself even to the death, even the death of the snake, and that the Elohim, his father, exalted him and gave him a name above all names. So when we look at being partial in the Torah, or being Nasah in the instructions, or to be lifted up, or to be exalted by the prophetic message, we see that this is how the priesthood of Melchizedek is over the priesthood of Levi. Because now we see a man who has no father, no mother, no beginning, nor end. And we also see how he ended up being a father to the fathers, because he ends up being our father, because he said we were born from his belly. He carried and sustained us. The master was placked inside. He ended up giving birth to carry and sustain us. If we dwell in him and he dwell in us, the father ended up becoming his father, because he was fatherless in the grave by resurrecting him from the dead. Therefore, he became the son of Elohim by the power of Elohim and the resurrection of the dead and by the Ruach HaKodesh. And that's what we're seeking after. You know what I'm saying? And we'll deal with the widow part later. But it was just establishing. Looking at all that stuff in Malachi, you would just think the Levites is evil. You know what I'm saying? But when you actually look at it, it's talking about this man establishing a priesthood, which is eternal, where this man can sit in Shamahim and make intercession for you daily. You know what I'm saying? Where he need not yearly to come and make an offering for sins for himself and for the people, because he did this when he offered himself. You know what I'm talking about? He departed out of the way of the old covenant to bring a new covenant, which is built upon better promises, which can remove your sins and give you eternal life. And then he showed himself to be lifted up and be exalted by the Lord, that you might believe on him, as the scripture has said. Because remember, that's what we read in John 7, because he said the master hadn't been esteemed, so the Ruach hadn't been given, so we could become the sons of Elohim, so we could no longer be fathers, so that we could have a father, and that we could be his sons, and that we could dwell in him forever. So hallelujah for Yahusha. We start right there, because we got to stop. It's 9:03. Everybody on the stream, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all in the name of Yahuwah. Oh, I seen people was on there. Oh, everything sound good. Hey, praise the Lamb. Hey, I appreciate everybody this evening, man. I appreciate everybody, you know what I'm saying? You know, we just got to sit back and look at that, man. We got to become sons of Elohim. We got to put the nonsense to the side. We got to sit back and realize the work that everybody, that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I don't be looking at that stuff while it be going, so when y'all be commenting, so forgive me on that. You know what I'm saying? We just got to get it right, keep it right. But I love everybody. Baruch everybody out the house of Yah in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. You know what I'm saying? Y'all willing on the Shabbat.